So what an exciting finish to the Texas USC game. A freshman getting to kick the game-winning field goal and making it, making up for one that he missed earlier from that right hash mark. I don't have the stats for this game. I don't have what I would normally have when I do these post-game analysis because the game literally just ended. I think it's about 11:43. And I probably couldn't see that, and so it's almost midnight. I don't really feel like, taking I normally it takes me about 25 minutes to prepare for one of these. I don't feel like doing that right now. Sorry, you can hate on me in the comments section, but I'm just going to talk about the game. I don't know the exact stats, but the Texas quarterback, whose name I'm blanking on, he had some Gilliger or something like that, not Elgler. I don't know what his name was. Elgler, yeah, sure, we'll go with that. No. As a freshman, that was a great game. You got to protect the football. That second overtime, the fumble is obviously the reason why they lost this game. And you look at it, and I don't know. That's a situation where I think protecting the football is the number one priority, especially on like a 2nd and 2, which I believe is what it was. You have 2 to 3 plays to get 2 yards. So you don't have to try your hardest to get those 2 yards right now, if that also means putting the football at risk, which he did. I think he should have had both arms over it going like that. Instead he had one arm going like this, and one guy just came in and ripped it out. For USC, Darnold looked good, but a few of his passes were just, I don't know. He had that wide open tight end, his second interception, wide open tight end across the middle of the field, and he just overthrows him. He is not a top 5 Heisman candidate for me. He wasn't at the beginning of the year. I think he was getting a little overhyped. I think he's a really talented quarterback, don't get me wrong. But I think he was getting a little overhyped. And right now he's kind of just, he's doing good. He had a lot of passing yards. He threw for 2 touchdowns. He led the team down the field. He did what a good quarterback would do for a very prestigious program. But I don't know if I trust. I don't know. A lot was put on his back, though. I'm gonna cut him some. Sorry for that. I'm gonna cut him some slack here, because there's a lot put on his back. Because they had no running game. We'll talk about USC for now, and then we'll talk about Texas in a second. They had no running game. I don't know what the running back stats were, but yeah, I don't know. He did not do good. We'll put it that way. Texas's defense was the biggest takeaway from this game for me, and just how well they played. They looked like a completely different team than 2 weeks ago when we saw them against Maryland to this week. They had fire. They had a kind of a swagger to them, where they were not afraid to go out there and have a big hit. That middle linebacker dude. I'm sorry, normally I'd be a little bit more professional and get all these guys' names, but the guy with the dreads, he was just going up every single, when they would run something, like a stretch run to either side, he was finding a hole, and he was hitting the running back in the backfield. It felt like every single time. That safety number 4 had the 2 interceptions. That first one, was able to pull that ball up from the ground. Great interception. The second one was really a bad throw by Darnold. I already mentioned that, but he was right there at right place, right time. I cannot say enough about Texas's defense. I think Tom Herman and the defensive coordinator, who I believe also came from Houston, did a fantastic job preparing for this game. They made Sam Darnold beat him, and Sam Darnold did not beat him. Yes, USC got the win. I would not say that Sam Darnold beat Texas. I would say that USC's defense beat Texas, or even you could say Texas's offense beat themselves. 4 turnovers you're gonna kill yourself. And then USC's defense forcing those 4 turnovers. But Sam Darnold is not the reason why USC won this game. The reason why USC won this game is because of their defensive play. Both defenses looked great, but USC's defense looked very, very promising. There were some areas, especially against that one receiver, which we'll get more into, but they just couldn't find a response. They could not find a way, it felt like, to guard him. And then against the run, they were pretty good against the run. I felt like they had a lot of pressure in the first half. After that, like they had those back-to-back sacks. When we thought that was going to be the end of the first half. How about that crazy ending into the first half, though? But back-to-back sacks, and I think they only ended up with like 5 or 6 to end the game. So obviously they did not have great pressure like throughout the game, and especially in the second half, the offensive line for Texas stepped up as well. And then we'll talk about the receivers. For USC, it was a pretty USC's defense just couldn't really find an answer for. I'm sorry, I again don't know his name. I'm tired. This game, I've said this in other videos, but I live in Tennessee, so I live in Central Time. So this game started at I think it actually started at 7:30, which isn't that late for me. I mean, this game should have been over by 10:30, 11. But then it went to double overtime. It's going to take up more time. So it's late, and I apologize for not having all the players' names. But that one receiver absolutely went off, the 6'6" dude. If you don't know who I'm talking about, just watch highlights. He made some crazy catches. And there were times, in the first overtime, USC didn't double team him on that second and long, which made zero sense. As a USC defensive coordinator or as a USC defensive back, I would at least maybe suggest to my defensive coordinator or something, this guy almost has 200 receiving yards against us. Should we put maybe more than just one person, or should we put someone else that hasn't really been matched up against him to see if he can stop him, because no one was able to stop that guy. And then, I guess I can talk about special teams. There wasn't anything too huge.